So autonomous vehicles. So this is a very common slide. The moment you start reading about autonomous vehicles, or you will come across the 6 levels. Uh, they say 5 levels, but the 6th level is no automation, no automation. So where here you see there is everything a driver has to do. So steering, acceleration, deceleration, monitoring the environment, fallback when the automation fails. There is no system to control. So it's zero, level zero, which all cars like 10 years back were. uh, with few technologies coming in, like cruise control, emergency braking, uh, these things were taken hold to a level one. So where now steering, acceleration, and deceleration is controlled by the vehicle, the software inside it. There are sensors, there is a software, there are various controls which the vehicle. So you see it's partial, it's not 100%, but it's partial. There is still driver involved, but some of the functionality is done by the vehicle, by the technology inside the vehicle. Now when with the partial automation over here, at level 2. So let me make it clear, we are right now, most of the technology and confidently used it at level 2. So everyone is at level 2, and we are the technology is promising that we will reach level 3. We are at level 2.5 to be not really, but not 2, it's not 3, but it's between that. So at level 2 we see that the steering, acceleration, deceleration. So here we say adaptive cruise control, where events like you're driving on a highway, and you start at automated assist, the cruise control. Sorry, I got lost in the word. You start the cruise control. The vehicle will be able to adjust the speed depending on the vehicle in front of you. If the vehicle is stopping, it's braking, our vehicle will also reduce the speed. It will try to maintain the distance. And it with lane keep assist, it is able to even maintain itself in the lane. But still, if you see the next 3 parts or next 2 parts, monitoring of the driving environment, that still remains. You cannot close your eyes, you cannot take off your hands from the steering wheel. You still have to hold your steering wheel, have an be alert. You cannot be absent-minded when you're driving. You still have to be present in the driving zone. Level 3, 4, 5 are getting advanced step by step, where level 3 is monitoring of the environment is not required when you go to the advanced cruise control. uh, and what happens is that is called as ADAS, assisted driver, or the automotive system, where the system assists the driver, and it helps the driver to avoid mistakes. Like if you if kind of you uh, doze off for a moment and you're getting close to another car, the car will automatically reduce its speed. It will alert you. It will even keep monitoring your eye action, your eyes. If you're drowsy, it will say you're drowsy, take a break. So these are the kind of things that comes in level 3. And level 4, where there is a fallback. If anything goes wrong, the vehicle will take uh, a corrective action. If it is saying that you're sleeping, it will drive off the road on the highway and park on the side and then alert you. It will not keep driving for long, but it will move away to the side. It will at least protect us. And level 5 is complete automation, where 100% autonomy, where it's a dream, where like it's a sci-fi movie everyone have seen. uh, where you say, car, take me to this place, car, take me to that place, and the car will start driving. I have seen very closely this happening, but in a very controlled environment. uh, so if you uh, there are kind of companies over here which are giving you demo trials in their controlled environment, where they know the whole route, the road is known, the scenarios are very controlled. It's not in the open environment. So, but yeah, you can see this thing. I have seen this. It's very amazing. It's a very good thing. Uh, so now coming to a very big thing. So when the autonomy comes in, what is going to happen? It's a $4 trillion disruption. That is close to 30,000 crore economy is going to just disappear. Think of it as like you come by a Uber, you take a Uber. When the cars get autonomous, when the level 5 autonomy is reached, what happens? That Uber driver is gone. He loses his job, but you get the service. Uh, there are cars reduced on the road. Can anyone really give me like how is this possible? Can anyone think of a idea why this point is there? Reduced car on the road. I'll continue. Please answer. We'll get back to this at the end of the slide. Uh, Lesser parking is required because now with the autonomy, the cars are less. So the parking requirement is less. And now autonomy is much better done in an electric vehicle because there are very few elements to control. And with few variables to control, it is much easier to move fast with the autonomy. Uh, there are just think of it as like your Uber driver is gone. Why do you need a delivery guy? The deliveries will come to your doorstep. You'll get a phone application. An app will say that your delivery is out. You go pick it up. Uh, so that's how it's going to cause a big disruption. It's a $4 trillion economy which is going to get a hit once we reach level for autonomy. Let me come back. Has anyone replied for this point?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Yes. Okay, not a problem.
Cost.
So imagine
someone has responded. Cost of a car.
No. This is a reduced car on the road. If the cost is reduced, I think everyone will buy, right?
No.
The cost is
if the cost is high, increased, then the cars will be reduced. Maybe that's
okay. It's a very good point. But imagine like there is a family of 4, and there are like at least in US, if a family of 4, there are at least 3 cars in the house. Now imagine there is one car. Like there is a father who goes to office. He takes the car. If the with autonomy, the car will drop, come back. Now the mother wants to go to the market. The same car will take her. That she doesn't need a second car to go to the market. The same car, once the mother is done shopping, she'll go pick up the kids from the school, drop them to wherever they want to go. They'll get them back. With autonomy, the car shall reduce. It's an estimation that 95% of time that the car we own stays in the parking lot. Only 5% of the times it keeps moving. It's doing its job. Uh, think of it like if you're able to increase the efficiency of the time, because time is a very important thing. You drive to your office, your car is parked in the parking lot for 8 to 9 hours. Then you leave, you go home. Then your car is parked the whole night for maybe 12 hours. So in the whole day, only 20 hours were the time, 4 hours were the time where you used, while 20 hours it was just parked. Now that car is being used by more people in the family, and over a period of time, it will be shared like Uber. Now we take Uber from place to place. If there is autonomous Uber, uh, just imagine you will have more of these kind of things and less kind of ownership of cars. So cars will reduce on the road, traffic is reduced, parking lots, so less parking is required because your car is never parked. It is 80% of the time moving, doing its job. So why it needs to park? It just keeps moving. So that's how it is going to disrupt a very big economy once level 5 autonomy comes in. So there is a lot of roadblocks which not only technological but economical also it has to overcome to reach that level 5 autonomy. Let me take you back on the history of what is autonomous. How did it start? So there was a first bot in 1966, Shaki, which is over here. I have put an image of it. Uh, this was a first autonomous bot. It means, what does it autonomous means? It was able to take a command, break it down into small actions. Like for example, if you tell your bot, go get water, it has to know that, oh, I have to go to the tap, pick a glass, fill the water, take the glass, bring it to the person who asked for it. Shaki was a first bot which was able to reduce this into smaller steps and achieve the goal. Before that, there were bots which were not able to break commands. So you are giving one command, go front, go right, take left, one command at a time. but Shaki was able to do it into multiple small commands and execute it. And the autonomous endeavor started in 1977 in Japan, in Paris, in Germany. A big thing was happening, but the milestone was the DARPA challenge, which happened in 2004, which was a challenge by Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. This is an agency in US which invests in the technology for the defense purpose. Sorry, this is a mistake over in the slide. It's not started in 2005, but it started in 2004. 2005 was a milestone year for a reason. I have added it here. So the challenge was to take your vehicle, make it autonomous, and then the competition host will tell you what is the path, and your vehicle has to cross that path. It was a very tricky. There were a lot of competitors that came in, and it was an open challenge. Like school students, college students, companies, anyone, like a group, four friends could even participate in it. There was no limit on who can participate. It was just that you create a car, make autonomous four vehicle or more, and get it on the track, race it on our path. You win the challenge. The cost was $2 million. First year, 2004, no one won it. 2005 was the first winner, that is Stanley, which is this blue car, Volkswagen Toggers. It was a Stanford car. They were able to finish this race. In the next part, we will see what the DARPA challenge was and how it was. It was pretty interesting. Let us check the video. Sorry. This video is not playing.
No, sure, not playing.
It's not playing. Give me a minute. I will. Let me play this video. Till then, anyone has any question, please let me know.
So by the time you started explaining the reduced number of car, people have responded same kind of answers, that car sharing in the family, and
Okay.
very less personal cars. So that kind of responses we have received. But that time we
very
already
good.
started explaining, so I skipped those.
Yes, not a problem. Not a problem. Okay. I okay. I will show this video in a bit. Okay. It would be interesting if we could have seen that video, but yes. So this was the first car, which was able to. Oh, sorry. So this was the first car which was able to finish the race. This was the second car. It was called Highlander. It finished second that year. Just look at what the sensors are on this car. How big of the sensors were there. There was a big camera over here. If you see, there are so many lidars which are being placed on the top of the car. There is a camera here. But with over a period of time, over a 10 decades period, there are so many companies working on the various sensors and technology that now if you see, this is a car, this one is a car called by Neuro, and they are delivering stuff. In fact, it's such an amazing thing. Domino's have partnered with it. and they are doing the delivery of the Domino pizza over here. There is only visibly one sensor over here, that is a Lidar, and there are a lot of smaller sensors. There are little smaller sensors over here, which are doing the job. And this is a Waymo, which is for last 10 years running so much data. They have collected so much road data, so much they have so much miles controlled with them, so much miles of data that they are able to now reaching level 4 partially in a controlled environment. Uh, if anyone ever comes to US and gets a chance to ride Waymo, it's an amazing experience. A car comes, there is no driver, the door opens, you sit, you enter the address, and the car takes you. But in a very controlled environment, they work only in their campus where there are like maybe 200 buildings and maybe have 30-40 miles of radius where they work. Now going to the sensors part. Can I clear this? Okay. Kind of. I don't want these arrows over here. Give me. Okay. I will erase them in a while. Okay, sensors. So there are 5 sensors which even Sudesh sir mentioned: camera, radar, lidar, global positioning, ultrasonic. So with development, these all sensors are required. There are contradicting thoughts that is lidar required. I'm sure after today's presentation, you people will have a different opinion why lidar is required. Let us jump to the first sensor, that is camera. This is a data which Tesla released from its camera. So there is no audio, so not a problem. See, if you see a while back, it was able to detect that the road is wet. In fact, this whole location is where I stay. It's an interesting fact. I have seen these roads almost every single day. So you can see that it is detecting a stop sign. It is able to detect that it's a car. It's able to detect there are so many other cars. So with so much data, every frame has like so many data points. Every small data points, it is able to recognize objects. Imagine the kind of processing power which is there in the backend, which is required to process this kind of data. So why cameras are important? Because like human eyes, they can see so many things. Even we do ID things, like when we are walking on the road, we see it's a tree, it's an animal, it's a dog, it's a car, it's a van. Cameras have that capability of doing it. But cameras don't have one capability, which is the depth, which is increasing over a period of time. But it is very good that it is there. And so this is again the same video, but I want to show a part. So can everyone see over here, there is a FA written and RA, because there are road marking which says right arrow, front arrow. And now here it says left arrow. And just when it goes, say it is had detected it's a restricted path. Why? Because there is a vehicle over here. The moment it comes here, you can see it is a wet road. And it is raining. It has guessed that it might be raining. It was not raining on that particular day. It is just the water is flowing on that particular patch. So the moment it crosses that patch, it takes off that the raining is not there. And then it is always being doing those kind of analysis. That is called computer vision, which is a very big part, very big topic, which is a complex thing which keeps on doing. There are frames per second which are doing. There are 60 frames, around 50 frames which goes through it. Now the next part is radar. So there are different radars. There is a long distance, short and medium distance. A long distance, so in a vehicle, you cannot have a uniform radar. So it will require multiple other ranges. So there is a cross traffic, blind spot detection, reversing, adaptive cruise control. So when it comes to adaptive cruise control, you need a length. So there is a long range radar. But for everything else, it requires a short or a medium to detect those obstacles. So radars play an important role in detecting objects in the close proximity, uh, and in the long proximity, there is the adaptive cruise control, but the length of that radar is not more than 200 meters. But if anything is more further, it cannot be detected on a radar at this moment. Uh, I am going to stop my screen share because I want these arrows to go off, and I will start this video. Till then, if you have any questions, please shoot.
So there is one question regarding batteries.
Yes.
The student is asking that we have to charge batteries at particular temperature, and if we are swapping the batteries, then that station has to charge batteries at the particular temperature, and it has to keep batteries at the store, you can say. So
Yes.
he's asking what will be better, charging or the swapping?
The answer is pretty simple, right? When you go to the petrol station, petrol pump, you are expecting to get petrol in the quickest time. So battery swapping is no different than charging the battery. It is just like in your remote control, the battery gets over, you switch it. It doesn't matter, right? It's the same battery. It's a battery provided by the OEM. So NIO is providing the same battery. It is the swapping. It happens in 3 minutes, and you can just drive off. That your old battery stays in their repository, gets charged, and whenever the next car comes, any car comes, it will just put it over there. They have a contract to do that. You have to pay the extra price for it, but it's an additional service. Rather than fast charging, waiting for 1 hour or maybe 40 minutes, you are on the street back in 3 minutes, which is equivalent to putting a gas in, like putting a petrol in your gas tank and just driving on your road. So long distance drives have been made possible due to that.
Okay, one more question, sir. Is there any effect on battery efficiency in summer or winter?
Yes, very good question. This question I would answer saying that when the battery temperature, when the atmosphere ambient temperature is low, the battery loses charge faster. While when the temperature is at a certain range, the battery has long life. If it is hot, it will lose battery at again faster rate. So it has an operating range where it will work in a very good efficiency. It will give you long days, long time power. It is similar, like if you have taken your mobile phone on a summer, like May or April, बहुत गर्मी होती है. When you go with your phone, your battery discharges fast because your battery will lose power very quickly. So there is a certain range where the battery has to be. But if you say extreme hot, extreme cold, no, it has to be in the particular range.
I think you got the answer for that question. No more questions in the chat box, so you can go ahead.
Okay, now let's come to the LiDAR. Why LiDAR is important, and how does it? Why it's important? Let's check with this video.
About LiDAR technology and how it can advance roadway safety, prevent car crashes, and save lives. The first thing you should know about LiDAR is that about LiDAR technology and how it can advance roadway safety, prevent car crashes, and save lives. The first thing you should know about LiDAR is that the sensors utilize the same eye-safe laser used in everyday life at grocery stores, for light shows, and for home security systems in keeping us safe. This sort of technology has been in use for years. In order to break down how the sensor works, we will highlight a single photon, or particle of light. See here, the single light photon is emitted from the sensor, hits an object like a tree, and bounces back to the LiDAR sensor. at which point the data from the light photon's travels is recorded. It is measuring distance and time. The amazing thing about this is that it works for non-stationary objects in real time, such as pedestrians, bicyclists, and other cars. Because LiDAR is its own light source, it can even see at night. This is an advantage over cameras, which have trouble in darkness. A good LiDAR has from 8 to 128 laser beams to measure the environment. The laser beams in the LiDAR emit billions of light photons per second at 360 degrees in order to completely see the surrounding world. It is pretty amazing that billions of data points and calculations are happening in real time. This allows the car to see and keep drivers, occupants, and all other road users safe. It is kind of like spraying paint all over the surrounding environment in order to highlight objects, make them recognizable, and show movement. Conversely, here you have a two-dimensional picture of the street via camera sensor. Cameras are basically a flat representation of the environment. Where a 2D vision system falls short, LiDAR is able to show a real-time 3D view of its surrounding environment. After all, our world is three-dimensional, not flat. Other issues that affect cameras' ability to see include optical illusions and lack of measurement. Also, cameras require more computer power and run hotter than a LiDAR sensor. None of these affect LiDAR. With rotating LiDAR, vehicles have a 360-degree, three-dimensional view of the world in real time that goes far beyond the scope of the camera and even beyond the human eye. Here is another example of how the LiDAR sensor can see in comparison to a suite of sensors, including camera and radar. The car on the left, equipped with a suite of sensors, still has blind spots. With the LiDAR on the right, issues such as blind spots or wide-angle hazards are non-existent. It can see 360 degrees at a range of up to 300 meters. LiDAR is able to accurately identify objects at up to 300 meters distance. Even high-resolution radar cannot render objects accurately, and as you can see, objects look like blobs with radar. We know that LiDAR is essential technology in all levels of automation, particularly in vehicles traveling over 15 miles per hour. It is critical that the vehicle is able to recognize a paper bag blowing across the roadway versus a small child in order to make accurate split-second decisions. For advanced safety and autonomy, we feel that LiDAR is an essential technology. About LiDAR.
So now that everyone has seen the LiDAR video, how LiDAR works, what are its strengths, what are its advantages over the other sensors, I would say that cameras are not obsolete, or nor LiDAR is the only solution to autonomous driving. But they are all supposed to go hand in hand. They are all supposed to be unanimously working. And a camera, as they said, it uses a lot of computing power because it has so much. So if you say 12 megapixel picture, so there are 12 million points it has to process, and that too in three colors, because every image that we see has three colors in basically RGB, red, green, blue. So you imagine that 12 million points into three, every frame it has to do it. And with 12 megapixel you will not be able to drive. It is now cameras are using close to 24 megapixels to drive. So imagine the kind of data points it has to process every second. It has to do so fast. There are computers which can do $3 trillion computations, operations in a second right now. NVIDIA and the competitive uh, chip makers have created those for the autonomous driving. But still, it is always good to use other technology which are readily available, like LiDAR, because LiDAR has a data. It is so clear, it is so to the point, with three-dimensional, that IDing the object is little difficult still on LiDAR. That if it's a car, if it's a human, if it's a tree, because a human and a tree from a distance might look the same to the LiDAR. So at that point, cameras come into picture. So they all are supposed to work hand in hand, and like radar, LiDAR, and LiDAR cameras, they all create a very holistic picture or holistic data which a computer can use to take decision when driving autonomous vehicle. Now let's go to one of the most critical.
So there are on being topic of LiDAR. We have two questions in the chat box. Can we take them?
Yes.
One student is asking if there is increase in radiation in the environment because of the use of LiDAR.
No. So there is no radiation in this because it uses a light rays, that is a laser, which is at the infrared level, which is not affecting the humans in any ways. There is a lot of research papers which have been published on this, that will LiDAR or technologies like radar, where there is ultraviolet rays, will it affect the humans? And the answer is quite no still. There are no adverse effects seen, except that certain lasers, if they go beyond a certain level, they can cause harm to our vision. Like बचपन में जब बोला था कि अरे लो लाल लाइट पे देखो मत आंखें खराब हो जाएगी, that is laser. That is a high velocity laser. If you Google like laser, you can see lasers are used to cut metals, cut very hard objects. But these lasers that are used in LiDAR, those are not harming humans. They have a certain frequency where in nanometers where it doesn't affect human in any ways. And if by chance the hardware goes wrong and the frequency is changed, there are precautions. The LiDAR completely shuts off, and it will send out a signal that LiDAR is not in operation. So please change or check the errors. But it is taken utmost care that it does not affect humans in any ways.
Okay, there are a few more questions, sir. One is from Professor Junaid. Which image sensor is used in LiDAR?
Which image sensor is used in LiDAR? There is no image sensor, Junaid sir. It is a light which goes and it's reflected back. It's based on pure reflection mechanism or reflection. The time it takes to travel and come back is how far the object is. And with billions of points that is being collected by a LiDAR in a second, it is able to create a 3D image. There is no one single thing, but there are billions of points which are recorded and a 3D image is created.
Okay. Couple of more questions, sir, quickly.
Yes.
So LiDAR is used for short distance detection, precise detection, and the camera for long distance, right? So one student wants to confirm that.
No, so with LiDAR technology right now, we are able to detect up to 500 meters, or you can say that it can go up to 400 meters. But what advantage it has on cameras is even in dark, it can create the 3D map of the area of their environment. Cameras do not have that capability. To that high resolution images cannot be created, and so an exact decision cannot be taken while driving in the dark.
Does LiDAR will work on every environment? Work in every environment?
Yes.
Okay. There is one question regarding self-charging EVs. Can I take that?
Definitely.
Yeah, the self-charging EVs will increase the efficiency of vehicle or not? I mean, it can cover more distance over the time or something. That kind of.
So self-charging is a very wide question. Let me put it down in a way. When you are driving a vehicle, there is certain power. So it's the energy principle. The energy in the environment remains same, and it is consumed. So when the power in the battery is used to drive the vehicle, we use it to overcome friction, overcome gravity, overcome air resistance. So there is aerodynamics. Then overcome all other heat. Heat is a component. So that energy is always lost. What is self-charging? I would say there is regenerative braking, but braking will not generate that amount of electricity back to charge the batteries. So maybe when you start driving the car from your home, you will have 100 kilometers on the battery and you travel 50 kilometers. So you expect that the battery life, the battery remaining is 50 kilometers, but it may happen that it will have 70 kilometers or 60 kilometers because of the regenerative brakings, but it will never have 100 kilometers back again till you charge it from an external source.
Okay, sir. You can go ahead with
Yes.
the GPS.
Yes, global positioning. So there were three sensors, radar, lidar, cameras, which gives the location that you are around. If you're standing in a place, if you're sitting in a car, your car will know what all things are there in the background. But there can be a scenario like, where on the earth are you standing? Like on a highway, it's okay. The resolution of GPS is maybe 10 meters, 20 meters. But still you need to know where are you standing. For example, so consider this blue arrow over here. I'll give an example how global positioning works. So this blue arrow is a road which goes towards your right. There are various structures. So there are 8 structures. Some structures are solid, some structures are hollow structures. So 1, 3, 4, 6, 8 are solid structures, 2, 5, 7 are hollow structures. Now if I ask you a question, or if I tell you your car is able to detect that you are in around these 8 buildings, 8 blocks, but you don't know where exactly you are. So that global positioning will tell you it is around this point. My car is standing around these 8 blocks. So now your sensors like radar, lidar, and cameras will collect data. The data it gets says that there is one empty block to my side. So there is a car which is going this way. Oh, let me start the okay. So there is a car. Imagine there is a car over here. Okay, my car. Okay. I don't believe I was a university topper in drawing, but still, this is a car. Uh, now imagine you're going in this way, and your sensor says that there is an empty block to your side. So your car can be over here, it can be over here, or it can be over here. So it can be at this point, it can be at this point, it can be at this point, because it says that there's an empty block. Then your sensor says that there is one solid block in front of the hollow block it has seen on the side. So still the points remain 2, 5, and 7. So now it says there is one solid block in the back. Still the point remain 2, 5, 7. And then the final data comes in. That is the most important. That there is one empty block to the side, 2 solid blocks in the front, and 1 solid block in the back. This narrows it down that your vehicle is standing in front of block number 2. So that is how the global positioning and all the other sensors work together to detect where your car is exactly. This is very important to know because in a city environment where there are so many structures, it is very important to know exact location. On a highway, an approximate location up to 10 meters is a good data for a car to drive on its own, because it's a highway, it's an open road. It knows that it's in a particular lane, it can drive. But in a city environment, these kind of data, the global positioning and all 3 sensors work together to give this information. Let us do one more exercise with this globe to find where our car is. So it says that there is one empty block to my side. So again, 257. Then it says there is one solid block in the front, one solid block in the back. Again, the same kind of data. But here, the last important data that changes is there is one empty block behind that solid block. So that makes it 5 doesn't have, because it has 2 solid blocks behind it. 2 has just one solid block. There is no other block it has detected. But 7 is our location, because 7, it says there is one empty block to my side, one solid block front, one solid block back and behind, and there is one empty block behind me, behind that solid block. So that gives us our car is standing in front of location 7. This will help to further drive, like, oh, I have to go to building number 8. That means I have to cross one block. If it detected at number 2, if it has to go, it has to drive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. And that is how global positioning plays a very important role, which it's like one time thing. to begin with, when you start driving, global positioning plays it first, and then it keeps using it over a period of time, like after a certain interval, to confirm that my location is right or wrong. And if it is not, it will correct its location in its memory, and hence the driving will be smoother. Now that we have seen all the sensors and uh, uh, we have seen all the sensors, uh, let me give you an overall how the car sees the environment. So there are radars, there is a camera, there are lidars. So there is no lidar shown here, but lidar is everywhere over here. There are multiple radars, and there is ultrasonic sensor. There is one more sensor, ultrasonic, which is used for lane keep assist. It will help to keep the vehicle in the lane when you're driving on highway. That
Sir,
brings me to the end of
sir, on the
autonomous driving.
sir, on the slides of car seeing the environment, I have one more question in the chat box. How that
Okay.
automatic car can avoid the rear collision if there's something which is not automatic, it comes closer from the rear, a truck or something. How an automatic car can avoid that collision?
It's a very unique question. No one has asked me this, but I'm going to answer with my best knowledge. If something is coming very close from behind, and the vehicle is able to detect that the object coming from behind is going to collide in certain seconds, minutes is too long a distance, it might take a diversion from that lane, and it will let the vehicle pass. There is a machine learning projects, and a lot of other companies which are studying that, to study the behavior of other cars, to make a judgment on how that next car will react. So for example, there's a car in front of you. Over a period of time, you're following that car, it will study its behavior, and it will then move left or right, depending on it. Rare collision can be avoided with a similar thing, but from rare, there are very less kind of data that is being received other than the distance. Lidars will give you data. It will say that the vehicle is coming at a certain speed close to you. It may alert you, but it's definitely a good question. I will have to think on it in detail if someone asks.
Sure, sir. Thank you. No more question in the chat box. You can go ahead with the repeating.
Yes. Okay, let me summarize the last question that Jugal sir asked, that if a vehicle is coming from behind, what it will do. The connected vehicles. It's one of the wide topic, and everyone is looking towards this with the autonomous vehicles coming in, because there is so much data that is being needed to process on the vehicle. It has been worked upon that there should be a communication between vehicles, so that the data can be shared. As the question was, if the truck is coming from behind it really fast, if that truck was also autonomous, it could send out a data that my brakes are failed, that's why I'm driving so fast. It might alert the emergency like police and traffic, and it will also communicate with the next cars that are there around to take an informed decision of emptying the path. So there is something called as connected vehicles, where the communication is between vehicle to vehicle, which will one of the case where it can avoid the collision. Imagine that you're driving on a road with a U-pin curve, and the car in front of you is a single lane road on a ghat, and you are following a car, and that car suddenly sees something and it is going to brake. You are really coming fast. If you brake after certain seconds, you will dash that car because your acceleration is not that not high, so you will dash that car. If that car is able to communicate to you some seconds before that, oh, I'm going to stop, you got to start reducing your speed and come to an halt. Otherwise, otherwise there's going to be a collision. So at that time, vehicle to vehicle communication plays a very good role. because of certain things that certain like the people in the front will be able to see, but you may not. You're just following the other car. So that is where vehicle to vehicle communication comes in. Uh, Vehicle to infrastructure. For example, uh, you are driving on a road and there is a signal, and the signal is red, but you're able to communicate with the infrastructure, and the infrastructure knows that the remaining three intersections are empty. That infrastructure will communicate to vehicle, I'm going to turn green, you can drive through. So that the speed of the vehicle, the time required to stop and then go ahead, again accelerate, will be reduced. One, time is reduced, one, energy is conserved because you don't have to brake, you don't have to accelerate. So you're able to stay in that speed which you are in. Uh, other thing is connected vehicle is software updates, over there software update. Yesterday, Sudesh sir mentioned that Tesla, in the storm and hurricane situation in 2 years back in Texas, gave away 20 extra miles with a software update, which was possible because these cars were connected to the internet. The moment Tesla released the software, it was updated on all the cars in that region, and they were given extra 20 miles to drive out of that danger zone. So connected vehicles also play an important role in correcting some stuff, uh, because software, when it is developed, we test it, we try to make it foolproof, but there are always some glitches which come in, which customers inform, which after when we give it to the customer, we come to know that, oh, there was some problem. We cannot. So there was something called as a recall. Few years back, or maybe 5 years back, if anything goes wrong in your software, they had to call back the vehicles. What happens when you call back the vehicle? You will have to have a service center, you will have a serviceman. He will have to connect the car to the computer, update the software, and give it back to the customer. In US, if a customer drops a car in the service center has to give him a replacement car for the time when the car is in the servicing. It can take 1 day, 2 days, depending on the number of cars in the garage. But with over the air updates, that cost is gone, because once you're connected to your internet, it just updates. When you're sleeping in the night, your car gets an update. It is having a fresh software. It is more or less like on your phone, Android app Play Store. When your app has some new feature, you get an update. You get that new feature on your phone. You don't have to take it to the phone wala and say that अरे नया software आया डाल के दो. No, it just happens over the air. Similarly, our vehicles are getting updated over the air. That is through internet. Security is very important other way in connected vehicles. If something happens, if someone is trying to break into your car, suddenly immediately the signal will go to the police will get informed, they'll come. Because if there is a dangerous person who's trying to steal your car, it is quicker for the police to come and tackle the situation than you going out and fighting with that person. So security is one very important thing with connected cars. And the reduced cost in autonomous vehicle. So when the cars are connected, autonomous vehicle costs will start going down, because with connected vehicles, if your car is in the front, it has more data that has been processed, and that processed data is shared with the car behind you, the car around you. So they don't have to process the same kind of data. Repetitive work is reduced. So maybe there is one work which takes 10 minutes, some data to take 10 minutes to process. 5 cars will do it in 2 minutes. 100 cars will do it in even lesser time. So if you're on a road with autonomous vehicle, the data processing time is reduced. The cost is reduced because you don't need such a high sensors, like very powerful sensors. And you can have various modulation. Like if you are in a highway with 100 cars, reduce the sensor capacities so that battery capacity will go up, because the sensors are not using all the power. Also with this, the onboarding computing is also reduced because the processing is shared. Like तुम्हारा एक प्रोजेक्ट है, तुम्हारे 4 प्रोजेक्ट पार्टनर है, तुम 4 जन में ज्यादा काम करोगे, कम काम करोगे. Similarly, when the vehicle is connected, when you are talking to your friends with your project partners, you do your work faster. I hope you do it faster. So that is how autonomous vehicles will also be able to do it. There is a lot of technologies which are developing for connected vehicles. One is one of the technology that I have recently very much seen happening around here is people don't like to. So with the engine vehicles, you still have to go to the petrol pump to put petrol. Now with connected vehicles, you have an app on your phone. Whenever your petrol goes down, it will send a message to one of the company which will come to your doorstep, they put the petrol in your car and go. They will, because there is no solid infrastructure like petrol pump created, they are giving cheaper petrol to the people. So and you don't even have to worry, अरे आज गाड़ी भरने के लिए जाना है, पेट्रोल भरने जाना है, लाइन होगा, क्या होगा, मेरे को ऑफिस जल्दी पहुंचना है. No, night before, your car knows your petrol is low. It will send a message to this company where you have done the subscription. It will come, put the petrol, money will go out of your bank account. You don't have to worry. It is all done automatically. So this way connected vehicles will play a bigger role in reducing the stress in human life. There are various different questions which we worry about. Like if you want, you must have seen Google and Amazon ad. Hey Alex, sorry, I'm going to not say Alexa because it will turn on all around me. Hey Google, hey Alexa, and then it will just do whatever order you want to do. Turn on the light, turn off the light. So it will play the magic. That's how your connected vehicles will also play the magic. They are self-sustaining environment.